Hey everybody, welcome to this week's recap. We're in week number 2 of our Esther series. This series, we're looking at how God has a purpose for your life and how He works that out. It's been an exciting time. If you haven't done so already, I want to encourage you to get into the book of Esther and read it. Just 10 chapters. It is a crazy story. And what's so cool about it is you see God's hand so powerfully in it, but God's not even mentioned. So it's that kind of awesome, whack story. So get into that and read it. So today, we really looked at one part of the story. We did a quick recap, looked at how Esther went from an orphan all the way to the queen of Persia, and then just the miraculousness of that. But then we stopped. A few years into her being the queen of Persia, the top noble in the kingdom, Haman, came up with a plot to have all the Jews killed. And Esther's cousin, Mordecai, he sent word to Esther and told her what was happening and begged her to go to the king so that hopefully their people could survive. Now, you would expect her just to say, yes, absolutely, go before the king, fall in front of his feet, beg for mercy, beg that he would save the people, right? But Esther sent back a reply to Mordecai that was something to the effect of, well, you see, if I go to the king, there's this little rule that you need to know about. If I go and I wasn't summoned or asked to come, I could die. And he hasn't asked for me for a while. And the only exception is if he holds up his gold scepter. So, I feel sorry about your predicament and all, but, I think you might need to ask somebody else. So you see the picture here. Esther was in the right place, in the right position, at the right time for God to do something great from her. But she got frozen with fear. She had all the potential in the world, but she got frozen with fear. Mordecai called her out on it, and he said, hey, listen, if you don't do this, you're probably going to die anyway because you're a Jew. And, God made you for a time as this. He said, it may be for such a time as this that you were made queen. For such a time as this. See, here's the thing. You guys were made with a plan and a purpose. And God has gifted you with potential. So much potential. Esther was in that moment where she was overflowing with potential, but she had not stepped over into her purpose. You see, your purpose requires your participation. God's given you resources. He's given you abilities and giftings and relationships and positions and so much more. You have potential. You have so much potential. But until you act, you have nothing but potential. It takes your action, your participation to step from potential over into your purpose. Fear wants to stop you. Distractions want to stop you. But it takes that act to move from potential over into your purpose. Just like kinetic energy. It first starts with potential energy. An atom bomb has loads of potential energy. Loads. But it's completely harmless if it just sits there. Until it's activated. And that energy is transformed from potential energy into kinetic energy. Nothing changes. But that conversion into the kinetic energy changes everything. You have potential. God has a plan and purpose for your life. But until you're willing to take a step out and into your purpose, you have nothing but potential. So here's the big thing. You have a plan, or God has a plan. You have a purpose, but your purpose requires your participation. So if you're watching this video right now, I want you to do 3 things. I want you to ask God these 3 questions. God, why have you brought me here? Whether you moved somewhere for a job, whether you moved because you're in the military and PCS somewhere, whether you've got a promotion at work, whatever that thing is, God, why have you brought me here? Secondly, ask Him, God, who have you brought me here for? Something about our purpose is it's for others. It's not about us receiving. Our potential wasn't meant for our own gain, but it was to be a blessing and an influence and an impact in other people's lives. So ask God, who have you brought me here for? And thirdly, ask God, why have you given me this? We have so many assets, relationships, and things of our own that God's given us. God, why have you given me the resources that you've given me? Why have you given me this? If we start looking at our potential as not for our own gain, but to be part of God's plan and his work on this earth, that changes everything. And it allows us to step from potential into our purpose. So I want to encourage you, ask God those things. Seek out the plan and the purpose that he has on your life, but initiate. Initiate. Get something going. If you're in one of our small groups, we're going to look at a few scriptures and we're going to dig into this thing that God has purpose for us. I want to encourage you to be open, honest with your group, and just pray at the end, pray for one another that God would give them the courage to activate the potential in their life so that it can mature into their purpose. Guys, thank you for joining us. We're looking forward to next week as we look at the moment Esther went before the king. Have a good one and bring somebody to life.